Your best ways around Houston. Next on the 10 on 740 KTRH.
7:23 our time here in Houston's Morning News. Do you have a horrible boss? Well, horrible boss is one thing.
Currently, no.
No.
Great bosses. Love these bosses.
I have, however, worked for a few people who were megalomaniacs. But there's something called the dark triad. That's the perfect storm of personality disorders all in one person. Here to talk about with us and how to cope, Kelly Accetta, author and personal development coach. What is the dark triad?
Well, Deborah Accetta from MIT refers to it as someone suffering from narcissism, Machiavellianism, and psychopathy. This dark triad is definitely someone we would not want to have in our life, and especially not someone we would want to try and work for.
You know, in simpler terms, we were talking, though, saying a bad boss is one who always blames everyone else when something goes wrong, but then takes all the credit if something goes right. That's some terms that people can really understand.
Yeah.
Oh, absolutely. And it's really easy to tell. Just like what you were sharing is, you know, how to detect whether or not you're dealing with a boss that is in this dark triad is things like they take credit for anything that's done good on the team. Anything that deserves recognition, they are in the middle of it saying, I did it all. Or they're talking negatively about the other employees in the company, their subordinates, but especially their bosses. Someone who has no regard or respect for even their bosses is someone probably in this triad of narcissism and the others. And, you know, it's never their fault. When things go wrong, just like you were sharing, when things go wrong, they're pointing fingers at everyone else and never taking the blame. And anyone who knows anything about leadership knows that it's always the leader's fault. Ultimately, the buck stops there, and they're willing to take responsibility. And these type of bosses don't.
Is there a cure for this other than quitting your job?
Well, I call it the 3 Ds. First, try and discuss, document, but then depart. So discuss with your boss things that they might be doing that are toxic to you. If they're screaming at you or ripping your head off in texts or emails or verbally, absolutely, you need to set your boundaries if that's not acceptable. So discuss what's troubling you or what's causing you anxiety in your workplace, but then start to document anything and take it to HR. And maybe they can reposition you underneath a different boss. They can move you to a different department. They can put him in or her into a leadership development type of a program that they might have within the company. But in this job market, I encourage all of your listeners, you do not need to suffer in silence and just endure a horrible boss. There are so many companies right now looking for fantastic employees. So if you need to depart, then by all means, this is the job market you want to do it in.
All right. Kelly, thanks for joining us. Good to hear from you. Kelly Accetta, author and personal development coach here on Newsradio 740, KTRH.